And we're on. How are we doing today, everybody? Welcome to the Stock Markets with Bruce channel, where we try to explain what the heck is going on in plain English. Easier said than done, but we do the best we can with what we have. How you guys doing today? It's June the 9th. It's Thursday. And I was on just 45 minutes ago for the Gold Bagel members for their exclusive pre-market alert type show, and I was talking about how it looks pretty good here. I mean, we were up 100 something points on the Dow, and the Nasdaq was up, and everything was rosy posy. Uh, but things change, and international events can happen that can change markets right in your hometown. And it looks like we're negative on the Nasdaq now. We were up almost 0.75% for a while today, just half an hour, 40 minutes ago. Going into the market here, we're now down 9 points, just about a tenth of a point. S&P is almost breaking even, 1.5 points. We've lost, I think, 2/3 of a percentage point gain. We've wiped that out. The Dow's only up 20 points. That's almost wiping out the entire gain. Why are the markets backing off like this right now? And could this make oil go lower? Maybe. What happened? Well, just in the last 40 minutes, the European Central Bank has indicated that starting in July, they're going to raise rates in Europe. They're trying to fight inflation too. And they have been holding off from doing anything like this. They've been trying to not get into this inflation battle like the Americans have been getting into it, and other banks like the Bank of England, the Bank of Canada. They've been kind of going, look, we're sort of in a recession here in Europe. It's not economically great. We've got this little thing happening in Ukraine over here in Eastern Europe, and it's kind of affecting us. And we don't really want to raise rates because we don't want to upset the economic engine, but now it's to the point where inflation has caused so much carnage and consternation that they've got to step in with some higher rates to try to cool this off. So it means, to me, the European Union economy might be improving here and there, maybe not across the board. But I have been telling you guys, if you've been watching me lately, Jen and I traveled into London, then to Edinburgh, then we moved on to Amsterdam, to Dortmund, to Hamburg, to Berlin. Now we're in Munich. Hey, there are construction cranes everywhere, and we're traveling by rail now since we landed in London. And it's not construction cranes just in the cities. No. There's construction cranes all over the darn place. You would expect construction cranes in London proper. Of course, London is never finished. But to have construction cranes between London and Edinburgh, to have construction cranes after you come out of the Channel from all over France into Belgium, into the Netherlands, all over Amsterdam, construction cranes between Amsterdam and Dortmund. In Dortmund, which is not, a top 2 city in Germany for population, it's a top 10 city. Great place. Construction going on all over the place. Now, maybe a lot of this construction, maybe it has to do with government spending. It could well be that I am being sort of hoodwinked here, that it's not just capital spending by private enterprise, Bruce. It's the governments of these countries that you're visiting pouring massive amounts of cash into infrastructure, government buildings being expanded or built out. I mean, it could be all kinds of stuff. But talking to locals, and the locals you talk to, if you want to know what's going on, you talk to a cab driver. You just talk to the cab driver. They know what's going on. They're on the road all the time, and they've got all the politicians in their cars, and the policymakers and bankers, and they hear it all. They're telling me and Jen saying, yeah, it's nuts. It's like boom time around here. Construction jobs, they're begging for construction workers. So I'm kind of wondering what's the kerfuffle about this recession in Europe? Maybe it's really not so bad. Um, anyway, the Central Bank of Europe, led by um, gosh, I've forgotten her name. Apologize for that. It'll come to me later. She is singling that rates are going to go up, and that starts in July. So this is June next month. We go higher into rates. Now, what are the rates now in Europe? They're zero. They're zero right now. So even if she raises rates in the next year, like 6 months to 1 to 2%, that would still be below what the U.S. rate's going to be. The U.S. rate, the prime rate in the United States is going to be, or the bank rate, the Fed funds rate, it's going to be 2.5% by the end of the year. Christine Lagarde, that's who I'm talking about. Christine Lagarde is the head of the ECB here. Very, very capable person. She's going to steer the European rates to 1.5 to 2% by the end of the year or into next year. She'll trail America, but it's a signal, it's a sign, and where they're on board. So that there you have uniformity. Markets like that. Now, unfortunately, today, right now, this message is being viewed as a negative for the market. The Dow now is down 6 points in the pre-market. S&P is down 3.25 as I speak. We're down 27 on NASDAQ. So the three markets have gone negative, having been between 0.6 and 1% positive. Now they're just negative. The market isn't happy with this development, but this should come as no surprise to market aficionados. As a matter of fact, I will bet you that 95% of those in the business, in the stock market business, they knew this was coming. This was only a matter of time. It would happen. And Christine Lagarde and the ECB would have to join the Fed because the Fed is the big boy on the block. And when the Fed moves up 0.5 percentage point every month, which they're going to do, you can't not join the party. Now, China has decided not to join the party. They've decided to go with lower rates to try to spur their economy because China has another problem. Their problem is their workforce numbers grow by like 5 million people a month join the workforce in China, a growing population. And you got to put these people to work. And they are losing jobs in China, especially in the real estate sector. It's bad. With the recent lockdowns, they had a ton of unemployment. They're now easing up on the lockdowns because it seems the latest wave of the virus has eased up a bit in China. But that could change at any time. And so China is experiencing some real economic headwinds, and they've been lowering rates and reducing the value of their currency against major currencies like euros, pounds, dollar, to try to make their goods even cheaper. They're also hiring all kinds of influencers, consultants around the world to make sure there are no tariffs placed on Chinese goods and or existing tariffs in the United States get rolled down. And the theory is that if the United States were to reduce tariffs on Chinese-made goods into the U.S., that would lower the cost of goods into the U.S. for Americans, therefore helping with the inflation problem. And the Biden administration needs all the help they can get from anywhere they can get it to lower inflation exposure, lower oil and gas pricing, and will eventually try to lower interest rates. But the problem, of course, is if you reduce the tariffs on Chinese goods, you are playing right into the hands of the Republicans who are saying we have to get tough with China and keep them from cheating on the trading game that we're involved with. When in reality, there are no companies, there are no factories in America that make 90% of the stuff that Americans buy from the Chinese. Those factories that used to make all that crap don't do it anymore because you can produce that crap. It might be as simple as a spatula fork and a knife, a spoon, a rake, a spade. This stuff, low tech product, can be made in China for 10 cents on the dollar compared to an American worker and an American factory. So there's no way any kind of tariffs against these goods will create American factories to start making these kinds of crap products. It's not going to happen because importers into the United States are very smart people. And they're going to say, well, okay, if I can't bring in a spade, a shovel, and some spatulas from China, that's all right. I'll order it from Indonesia. They've got preferred status. They have no tariffs on their stuff. Oh, they're going to go after Indonesia now? Oh, okay. Well, we'll go and get it made in Vietnam. No? How about Cambodia? No? How about Laos? Let's play whack-a-mole with the tariff game. And the importers just run circles around the American government trying to put tariffs on all kinds of goods. They just import it from somewhere else. And there's always a way to get it in at a cheaper price and keep Americans into cheap goods, which keeps their living standard higher. And too bad if China pays the price from loss of jobs. But the funny thing is things that I know politicians do not think of this because they're really not that bright. And why should they think of this? This doesn't buy them votes. You take away, like you make tariffs on junk high, and now you force the importers to bring it in from other countries. Well, right up until a few years ago, a lot of just junky stuff was coming from China, which meant that millions of Chinese, and I mean millions, tens of millions, were employed making forks, knives, spoons, steak knife sets, barbecue sets, pots and pans, and like low-tech stuff. Now, all of a sudden, that stuff is being tariffed up. So that stuff's going to be made in India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, on and on it goes. That turns the Chinese factories into higher quality goods that aren't subject to tariffs. Now, all of a sudden, it's a national priority in China to get millions of people working, keeping them working. And in China, it's a no-brainer for the government to come up with money to educate its population to up their skills. And they'll take 35 and 45 and 55-year-olds, and they will have them working in solar plants, in high-tech factories, automobile factories producing all the components to make the car, not just assembling cars like they do in Michigan, where you don't need all that great of a education to do it. We're talking about all the components for the parts that go into the dashboard that's now all computerized. Those are now made in China by Chinese, and they're producing these components and then exporting these components to go into cars around the world. America doesn't want it, so what? Who gives a crap if America doesn't want to buy our dashboards, is what they're saying over there. So what? We'll send our dashboards to Brazil, and the Brazilians will produce vehicles for their car market, therefore, and thereby shutting out Ford, GM, and any other American company, because there are no import duties on dashboards from China to Brazil. There are tariffs on dashboards into America. So Americans, my viewers, many of my viewers, pay more money for their cars because of tariffs against components made by Chinese, who used to make spatulas and forks and knives and barbecues. It just goes around and around, and it comes back to bite you every single time. If you are going to be a country and you're going to put all kinds of tariffs and restrictions on goods coming in from the outside, what a smart country will do, and a country that has absolute control over its population and everything they say, do, and think and feel, they will just change gears, and they will just shift over to this product, these higher tech items, and they will outbid you and outdo your country to get these contracts elsewhere. And so cars made in Chile, cars made in Peru, cars made in Italy, cars made in France, cars made in perhaps Germany, made in Egypt, assembled in other countries around the world, with Chinese parts of a high quality, of a high tech nature. Uh, Climate controlled car seats, climate control systems, very complicated transmission systems. The latest and greatest components that cars have are now more and more being made by Chinese in factories that used to employ people that used to make junk and don't make junk anymore. And America now imports their spatulas from these countries. And when they do import dashboards, what they're finding indirectly is the dashboard isn't made in China, so it's not subject to Chinese tariffs. But the dashboard was designed and engineered and created in China. And those blueprints and those manufacturing plants were then shipped over to the factory in Indonesia, which is in effect Chinese designed and now manned by the population in Indonesia and other countries in Asia to produce these items, which are now brought into the United States without tariffs or duties, high penalty and punitive duties and tariffs, and they find their way into American-based vehicles. And so you stop nothing. You absolutely stop nothing. And royalties from the sale of all of these components flow back to, guess where? China. They flow back to China, where the architects are, where the engineers are. You know, those kids that we tease all the time on TV jokes. The late night hosts make jokes about how American kids take classes about feelings and how Chinese kids learn math. Those jokes, those kids are engineers and are very successful architects and building factories around the world for world consumption. There you go. And so, just saying, it goes around and around and around. If you're not going to invest your national energies, whether you're Canadian, Mexican, American, UK, German, French, if you're not investing, or let's say out investing other countries that want to take your place as the leading outfit for certain kinds of goods, you're going to get crushed out there. And what ends up happening is you're now more of a consuming nation than a producing nation. And the American and Canadian backstop, to use a term, that we've always turned to when we lose factory jobs in Ingersoll, Ontario, or in Akron, Ohio, or wherever in the US and Canada, we always have said to ourselves, that's all right. Yeah, we lost those 2,000 $22 an hour jobs that non-high school graduates from the 60s and 70s used to do, and they used to make a middle class wage. Well, we've replaced those jobs with high-tech jobs because North America has a lot of bright people who, going to university, are coming out with degrees in computer sciences, software writing ability, all the high-tech jobs that, robots and you name it. Now what we're beginning to notice is, gosh darn it, we used to be the world leaders in this area. Now we're not anymore, because out of Europe, all kinds of countries in Europe here are creating pretty smart people with high-end, high-tech degrees, and now they're coming out of India and Pakistan and other countries, and now China and Japan and South Korea, Vietnam, and so on. And eventually they won't need American ingenuity and know-how anymore. All they need are American consumers to buy this stuff. That's all they need. They don't need Americans to make it. And so America has to, and Canada and Britain and Germany, I'm not picking on America, believe me, just putting it all together. We in the West, let's say, we have got to focus on our next 40 years. What are we going to be about in the next 40 years? That's past my prime, probably past a number of you who are watching me right now, past your prime. It's your kids and your grandkids. What are they going to be focused on going forward in the year 2060, 2080, and 2100, when we're long gone, because all the jobs we've created in the last 30, 40, 50 years are redundant and are no longer required. Not every single job, but a good chunk of them will just disappear. Just like in the 50s and the 60s, 70s and 80s, a whole bunch of the Rust Belt jobs disappeared in North America. And back in the 40s and the 50s, all those farming jobs disappeared because of automation, and going back and going back and going back into the 1800s, and so on and so on. And so what is the future all about? This is what one has to ask oneself. In the meantime, there's another issue that is really dominating the news from time to time, and politicians are absolutely stumped as to what to do about it. They actually know the answer, but they're not going to tell us the answer. The stumper, the problem. What is the problem, Bruce? Oil prices, $121.80 a barrel in West Texas for oil. America is one of the world's largest producers of oil. Canada is one of the world's largest producers of oil. Mexico is in the top 10 largest producers of oil. Why, in God's green earth, should oil be 121 a barrel when these three countries, and we have a trading pact, we're friends, we get along? Why is it that oil and gas is $5-6 a gallon or more? What's going on, Kipasa? What's going on there, Kiyosaki? This makes no sense. And how do you stop it? How do you reverse this crazy rise in gasoline prices? Well, it's called the supply of law. It's called the law of supply and demand. The supply of law and demand. The law of supply and demand. If you use more of the product than you can produce, it goes up in price. What is the one thing we don't have in North America? Let me tell you the one thing that has not been built in North America in over 40 years. It might be 50 now. There's one thing that hasn't been built in 50 years in North America. You know what it is? An oil refinery. You try, go ahead, tell me what state in the United States of America where you can build a oil gasoline refinery, where you can take crude oil and refine it into unleaded and high grade fuels. There is no state in the United States that wants one of these. There is no neighborhood that wants one of these. There is no district that wants one of these. As a matter of fact, existing refineries are having a tough time staying licensed and staying open because of all the environmental limitations being put on them, because the tree huggers want us to get off of oil and gas because it's bad for the environment, right? So why would you encourage more refineries? Even in Canada, tough to get one built up there. Alberta is one province in Canada where it's theoretically the easiest to get a refinery up and going, theoretically, because the rules up there are also very strict, but the government is pro fossil fuel, and they're trying to build the world's most efficient and cleanest version of oil and gas, everything. But unfortunately, the Sierra Club of the United States has more millions at its disposal to show images, photos on TV screens and billboards of the so-called tar sands oil that Alberta is supposedly drowning in, despite the fact that the dirtiest oil on the planet, I think, is in California, which is odd because California is such a progressive state to try to, get clean burning fuel and electric cars and all that. But the dirtiest oil is actually in California. Has been produced since the 30s, just outside Los Angeles, not far out of LA. Anyway, I digress. What's the answer? What should politicians be telling us so that we don't have this pricing problem? It's simple, really. It is down to the rudimentary, basic one little thing. It is tiny. It is It is an easy answer. Everyone look in the mirror and just go, I got to use a gallon less. I've got to use a gallon a day less of gasoline in my life. That's the answer. If 350 million Americans and 35 million Canadians and 70 million Mexicans, if we all got together and said, you know what, we're all going to use a gallon of gas a day less in our lives. We're just going to be more fuel efficient. We're just going to be more careful with it. We're not going to burn it off in gigantic 5-liter engines anymore. We're going to drive 4-cylinder engines. We're going to get more electric, whatever. That would solve everything. Everything. The first thing it would do, it would collapse the demand for crude, the raw material crude. It would collapse it, which would collapse the price of the barrel, which would collapse the price through the refinery, which would collapse the price at the gas stations, because the gas stations would be brimming with fuel. They'd have gas right up to the top of their tanks. The refineries would have to cut back production, and the crude oil companies would be told, don't deliver as much fuel to us because we don't need as much. That would also stop America from importing a single barrel. It would probably mean that other countries would also be able to cut, if they followed our lead, obviously they'd follow it, but we would cut back so much that the price would go down to about 35, 40 bucks a barrel, which is what we call basic cost production. We would only see production from oil wells where you can bring this stuff up for 25, 30 bucks a barrel and sell it for about 40. Gas at the pump would be about $1.25, $1.55 a gallon across the board. Now, certain states in the United States would have the super cheap price. California would still have $3 a price gas. Canada would still be more than the US. I mean, that's not going to change. But the market would completely collapse on itself. This would create gigantic problems in Russia, massive problems in Saudi Arabia, the Middle East. It would create economic turmoil in Europe, because the fact is, around the globe, whether it's, and I shouldn't single out Europe, but I do, but Europe and other countries around the world are addicted to taxing fuel at a very high level to balance their budgets. They've gotten so lazy and they've gotten so creative. They figured out it's better to tax oil and gas revenues than to put up the income tax on people, because people hate it when their income tax goes up, but they won't vote you out of office if the price of gas goes up a nickel. Not necessarily vote you out of office, especially if you can do a two-for. If you can drop income tax rates by 1% and then in the back door raise the rate of gas taxes by 10%, you'll still not lose votes as a politician. And this is why, it's one of the reasons why you will not see politicians go on the air in front of cameras to say, I support the fact that we should use less oil and gas as our solution to the price problem of oil and gas. There's no politician in the Midwest USA would be caught dead wanting to do that. That's an anti-Trump message if you ever heard one. You certainly don't go against the hand that feeds you in Texas or Oklahoma. You don't say to that state's voters, I think we should use less fuel as a solution to our problems, because the oil and gas companies are going, hey, I'm employing your brother-in-law, Bubba. What are you talking about, man? I'm going to lay this guy off. Can't have that. There are a lot of self-interested dealers here that don't want this to happen. So there's the impossibility of convincing Americans to use less. Now, the funny thing is, goofy, most Americans and Canadians live in major metropolitan centers. Canada has like 15 cities of note. America has 100. Most of the 100 cities that America has are actually in what we call blue states, where the voters are generally more they're more environmentally sensitive. They believe in the idea that, well, if you tax me more, I'll use less of it, and if we use less of it, we're better off. They kind of go with that. Whereas the red states and so on, my right is to burn as much of this stuff as I can afford to buy. Um, so in reality, um, if the blue state politicians came out and said, this is the tack we're going to use, New York City said, or New York State were to say, and let's say Pennsylvania and Massachusetts and the other heavily populated Northeast states, if they came out in a block and said, we're going to cut oil and gas consumption by 15% over the next 3 years, 5% a year for 3 years in a row, we're going to find ways to make this happen. Priority, rather than cut taxes and give incentives and all that. We're just going to make this our policy. California, of course, very, very blue when it comes to politically, federally. Washington State, Oregon, if they were to all cut back, you would make an impact. It would be huge. In Canada, theoretically, British Columbia, the West Coast province, and then in Canada, east side, mix of Ontario and maybe some Quebec and some Maritime. The rest is insignificant, not enough of a population thing to worry about. But you could make a difference. It could really drop the price of the crude, really drop it. And that would, if Texas went down $40 a barrel, Brent will go down 25. That will affect the globe. That will take the heat off inflation. That will take the heat off central bankers to raise interest rates. That will take the heat off of mortgage rates going up out of ridiculous numbers. Yeah, it will hurt certain segments of the economy. Sure, the energy business. They'll go, what happened to all that money we were making? But it'll improve the bottom line of 90% of the economy, which is where most of us work. Is the other 90% of the economy. But I don't see a politician standing up saying, I think this is the solution, because it's not very popular to speak that way to a freedom-loving V8 driving pickup owner, in certain jurisdictions. You see, we all think we're cowboys. You see, we all, deep down inside, we all believe we're actually freedom-loving cowboys. But in reality, we don't act that way, and we don't really think that way. But it's an image we have, especially in North America. We have this John Wayne image, and we think about the freedom of getting out in the open road and being my own person. But we also realize that glaciers are melting at a scary pace in North America as well as everywhere else. And we notice the weather patterns are like crazy, and they're getting worse. And we actually have the solution in our hand right now. We've had it the whole time. We choose not to use it. That's the problem. So there you go. There's my rant. There's a partial rant anyway about a lot of stuff. We're down 72 on the Dow as we continue to drop. We might drop 500 points today. We might drop 500 points today. We're down 13 on S&P. We're down 63 on NASDAQ. It's not like a bloodbath going into the opening, but as the day wears on, and as the bond market in Europe gets really upset, and it is really upset right now. Rates, just to give you an idea, U.S. rates alone, the 10-year U.S. Treasury is 3.06 right now. It was sitting at barely 3%. But Germany, the German rate this morning was at approximately what was that? Where is that? There's that chart. Was sitting at around 1.33%. It's now 1.44, 1.45%. This is huge. A 1/10 of a percentage move in German rates is massive. Italy is now 3.6%. It was at 3.3% this morning. That's 0.3 of a point higher. Spanish rates were 2.45. They're now 2.6. That's not good. UK was sitting at around 2.23, now at 2.32. Again, big moves in the bond markets. We have watched in the last hour trillions of dollars of money disappear in Europe because of the bond prices having gone down. Trillions. It's huge. It's massive. Every single bond is getting hit right now because of higher yields. They're dropping in price, bringing up yields because rates are going to go higher. Now, that means, like I said before, if we end up with Interest rates in Europe at about 1.5 to 2% a year from now, and in the U.S. a year from now, 2.5 to 3%. That wouldn't be an outrageous comparison, but in the European area, this is from 0% to 2% across all bonds, a minimum 2% yield increase on junk bonds, 4 or 5% yield increase. This is going to create a multi-trillion-dollar wipeout of wealth in Europe, and that is European pension funds, mutual funds, ETFs. You can't escape it because you can't get away from the bond market. You have to be in it. And this now puts pressure on other markets that might also have their bonds start to fall in price as well. And this does not create a soft landing. This creates a difficult economic environment because money gets tighter all of a sudden to find. And you can't find that the offer, like for example, in North America, up until a year ago, you were getting in your mailbox, I bet you every week or two, every American and Canadian, they were getting junk mail from credit card companies offering you the opportunity to switch your credit card from company so-and-so to company such and such. And the offer that they were handing out was you can transfer 5, 10, 20 grand of your debt from credit card company over here to our credit card company for 0 interest for a full year or longer. There was all kinds of it was free money. 0 interest rate money being offered to millions of people every week by the credit card competitors out there. The banks were trying to sell money for nothing, certainly less than the cost of inflation. Even now, if you can get a 2% promo rate or a 3% promo rate on a credit card switcheroo offer, you're still ahead of inflation, which is 7-8%. It's still cheaper to borrow money at 2-3% than to pay inflation at 7 or 8. But now we've got this reversal. We don't have free money anymore being handed out, like virtually for nothing. It's not being done anymore. Now there are strings attached, interest rates. I'm getting emails, and maybe some of you are getting emails now from bankers. Have you been getting these that say something like, you can earn 3% interest on your savings account? When's the last time you saw a bank ever offer you anything for your money in a savings account over half a point or a point? I mean, I remember, what was it, 2 years ago? You had to buy a 5-year GIC, guaranteed investment certificate, from a bank to maybe get 1%, maybe 1.25% bonus, maybe. Now I'm seeing 2 and 3.5% interest rates being offered like crazy. Like, oh yeah, you can make money here. We can pay you interest on your money. Of course, it still isn't inflation, but it is most interesting to know. Anyway, there you go. The free money era is over, and the 1.99 mortgage in Canada is no longer available. The German mortgage rate that was probably negative 0.25 point. Certainly in the Netherlands and Belgium, it was a negative 0.25% not too long ago, a year or two ago. Those are gone. And obviously some of these are 3-year, 5-year term, 10-year term. They're coming up. When they renew, guess what? Folks are going to renew from negative 0.25 to +2. It's going to be a shock. Then that will likely affect real estate prices going forward. Can't help but. We're going to have to see how this all goes. Interesting stuff. Thank you, all of you, for being here this morning. It's good to see you all. A bunch of you have already thrown thumbs ups my way, and I'm always appreciative of that. Thank you, all of you who help out and throw the thumbs ups our way. Mark Cherry, thank you for being number 97. Love it. Anyway, there it is. Uncle Bruce starts talking about cutting back on oil, and the futures fall off a cliff. Well, there you go. We're down 46 cents. The funny thing is, I mean, it is so silly. If Americans and Canadians used 5 gallons less a week in fuel, and that wouldn't take much at all, the cumulative effect of that would be we'd be awash. We'd be drowning in the fuel. We'd be drowning in how much is available. It's a difference of maybe half a percentage point is all we're talking about right now between supply and demand right now. It's this perception. There's a perception out there that, oh, we are really short of fuel. We are not really short of fuel. It's half a percentage point differential. This is a joke. This fall, we're going to have a half a percentage point of more fuel than we need just for seasonal adjustments. And I can guarantee you that the Valero and these other refiners in the US, they will find convenient excuses to say, oh, October, you know what we're going to do for October? We're going to shut down plant number, refinery number, whatever in Texas for maintenance for a month or 6 weeks. Yeah, they're going to shut the darn thing down. They're going to keep the supply back from you and me so that the prices stay high, because the refiners know, well, if we refine 5 million barrels of oil a day, and we only make $2 a barrel profit, or we only refine 1 million barrels a day but make $12 profit, hey, why should we only make $1 profit a barrel? Why, that's stupid. We'll just produce less, get way more per barrel, and make more money, because we don't need as many people to produce, to refine 1 million barrels versus 5 million barrels. So we can lay people off. We can reduce the wear and tear on our equipment, which saves us a ton of dough. And we make just a pile of money. We keep the game going. I mean, these guys are geniuses at this stuff. They're really good at it. What they fear is people like me. They fear that my message would become a popular message. And they don't want this to get out. They don't want this to become the mantra that, yeah, you know what, we can beat these guys at their own game by letting them drown in their own soup. This happened 2-3 years ago for a week, you may recall, when oil dropped so much in price because of the oversupply that was going on. We were going into a perceived recession. Oil went negative. It was negative $40 a barrel. In other words, I'll pay you $40 a barrel to buy my oil from me. And there were no takers because there was nowhere to put it. Every refinery was loaded up with fuel. Every oil drum was fueled up and leveled up. Every ocean liner that moved oil was drowning in it. When the economy stopped, when we had the lockdown, fuel usage dropped off the face of the earth and oil went negative. That was an overreaction. I'm only talking about a gallon a day less here and there to make this little impact. I think like I say, 15% over the next 3 years reduction in fuel usage would crush the Mideast, crush the Russians. I mean, just destroy them economically, bankrupt them. I'm not kidding, bankrupt them, because they are addicted to $60, $80 oil for their internal needs, all the bribes they got to pay, all the payoffs they have to pay for all their generals and all their government officials, the judges, the jailers, the secret police, the informants, you name it, all the bribes that Putin has to pay is cash. And he needs $60, $80 a barrel or more to keep the game going. And so better to invade Ukraine and have oil go to 120 than not invade Ukraine and have oil sit at $70 a barrel. That's too close to the line. Here's a little bit of comfort zone, because does Putin give a crap about sending in 200,000 Russian guys that are 20 to 30 years of age and they get slaughtered by Ukrainian missiles? No, he doesn't care about these guys. He cares about his generals and all of his top people that he's got to carry, the family. He's got the family to carry here to keep him going until the day he dies. And he wants to live another 20, 30 years. So let's keep the flow going, baby. This is what it's all about. Sorry, but that's it. In the Mideast, it used to be that a barrel of crude out of Saudi Arabia used to run about $1.50 to produce, and anything over that was pure profit. Unfortunately, Saudi Arabia now is so socialistic in a way that the sheikhs, the guys running the fiefdom over there, these guys need $85 to $90 barrel oil to keep that game of theirs running with all the money they have to hand out to all of their surrogates, all their underlings. Same in other countries in the Mideast and OPEC. The OPEC countries are not very efficient producers of the product anymore. They've got so many bribes and so many payoffs that they have to do. They need $80, $90 a barrel oil. This is why we are actually holding all the power if only we were to use it. And that's why a slight cutback in usage would crush the dictators first, and then crush the communist guys next. Then it would crush the greedy buggers out there who are running the game. It would just one out. The domino effect would be nonstop. It would be absolutely nonstop, and the consumer would be the winner at the end of the day. And the trick of it would be that even at $2 a gallon or $1.50 a gallon, if we still only used 85% of what we use now and tried to cut back further, we'd actually help save our planet, which, is irreplaceable. You can't vote in a new planet in the next election to kind of make things better, but easier said than done. Anyway, we're down. We got 14 minutes to go. We're down 60 points on the Dow, 13 on S&P, 57 on NASDAQ. Oil down $1.08 a barrel because the word is getting out that Uncle Bruce is talking about saving the oil market. There you go. How about that? Let's see. Here we go. I haven't driven my truck for 3 months and only put $30 in gas in the tank when I need gas in my car. Yesterday in Berlin, a crazy man drove into his group of school kids, killing a teacher and putting more in the hospital. Crazy people do things whenever they can find it. That was a sad story. Scary too. I was listening to Bloomberg. The senator was quoted for saying ARs were needed to protect chickens from raccoons. We need AR-15s to protect chicken coops from raccoons because those raccoons, they're fast. They're like roadrunners, So you got to go, 50 bullets will get one bullet will get a raccoon, I'm sure. Yeah, Senator, really going unbelievable. What is wrong with Venezuelan oil? What's wrong with it? The problem with Venezuela, did you know that in the 1970s, the richest countries in the world on a per capita GDP basis, number 2 country, richest in the world, was Venezuela. Did you know that? The citizens of Venezuela were in the top 5 richest people on the face of the earth because Venezuela had agriculture, they had tourism, they had very good education system, very smart population, and they had resources, and they were able to produce oil and gas, refine it, and they were self-reliant. And as oil and gas went up in value through the 70s, through the OPEC thing, Venezuelans were riding high. Everything was great. The problem, unfortunately for Venezuela, was that they decided to try to nationalize the petroleum industry because they had it in their heads that any foreigner that runs our oil and gas business is just running it for the money, and it should be run by Venezuelans for Venezuela. A nice notion. The problem is no one thought that maybe the expertise to run the oil and gas business could have been learned by the Venezuelans before they tried to nationalize it. And so as they systematically began nationalizing their industry, they put in the cronies from the political party in power because, again, they were smelling the opportunity of, if we could run the business that these Americans are running, we'd make all the money and we'd get rid of these guys. And if you know that you're just going to run the distribution business for the oil and gas sector in your country for 2 years until the next election, and by that time another crony is going to take your place, what are you going to do for 2 years? You're going to skim off the top and take the bribes. because you don't give a crap in 3 years anymore. You've taken so much money off the table, you've converted it into American money, and you've left town. And you're retired in Scottsdale, or you're retired in Monaco, or you're retired in Spain. You don't care. And so subsequent governments in Venezuela ran this thing into the ground, where today Venezuela has one of the largest oil reserves on the planet. They produce a high quality crude. They don't make a single gallon of gasoline in Venezuela. Not 1 gallon of gasoline is refined in Venezuela for Venezuelan production. Venezuela exports its oil, sends its oil out to be refined, and then re-imports it as gasoline to put into its gas station networks. That's how bad off they are now. There's still nobody down there who runs the darn thing. Nobody. And all that infrastructure that was built out by the foreigners through the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and would have been maintained through the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, with all the socialistic governments coming on, all of that would have been kept in top-notch condition and would have been run in the most efficient way possible, which would have kept Venezuela in the top 10 richest countries in the world. Venezuela now is in the bottom 10% because they have inflation out of control. They don't have any domestic control over their production. It's an absolute screw up. And there you go. There's your little lesson about taking it over and not knowing how to run it. Unbelievable. What can I say? Zed says, I have 127 thumbs ups now. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. They're on the Maduro diet now. Yep. Here we go. What do you think about the Philippines? Got another Marcos in charge. Well, if the son takes over from dad, if he inherits his dad's tendencies, one, you don't want to be a politician, an opposition member. Two, you don't want to be a member of the press. You're going to want to get the hell out of there. And if you have any, quote, thoughts on how things should be run, you might want to move somewhere else. It might be that ugly. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. Malo, thank you for the 127 thumbs up of the show. Appreciate it. We got, 8 minutes to go, and we're going to start opening up here. Thank you, everybody. G-America trademark from GameStop. Anyone know anything about this? I have no idea what this is about. Anybody know what about? You let me know. I still haven't heard a word on a split strategy for GameStop shares. I've got nothing anywhere in my wheelhouse. If anyone knows anything, do let us know. See what's going on. The Mark Nazar saying, Mark, for G-America, trademark registration is intended to cover the categories of clothing, namely T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and footwear. That's what that's all about. Okay, we'll see what's going on. We are now 7 minutes away from opening this show. We're down 35 points on the Dow. It's not a bloodbath, but it's a reversal from what we were looking at. We're down 10 points on the S&P. We're down 52 on NASDAQ. Crude down 78 cents. The question is going to be today, this news coming out of the European Union about rates going up in July. Will this infect the market so that pension funds in America, or let's say investors into North American stocks, will now think twice about keeping them there because they might decide it's time to take money out of America and shift it into interest rate bearing European investments. If the European Central Bank, the EU, is going to raise rates at a faster rate than the United States will, is it safer? Or is it also a better thing, for example, if the interest rates in the European Union are going up, could that positively affect the euro? And the talk of parity goes away. The idea that the euro would drop from 107 down to 100, even to the American dollar. If that talk stops and the euro is going to go from 107 to maybe 112 in the next year, or 115 the year after, could that mean a bunch of investors that are into American-based currencies now are going to shift out now while the euro is at 107, get into euro-centric currency products like bonds, high-end stocks, and ride the wave from 107 to 115 in the next 2 years, an 8% gain, by the way, on top of the interest rate run. So could that be a possibility? That would be bad for the New York Stock Exchange, bad for NASDAQ, bad for S&P, because American-based currency assets would be sold in favor of euro-based currency investments. Something to think about. Well, how will that play out? Also, another thought, if the Eurozone interest rates are going higher and American dollar values are going to drop because the other currencies are rising against the American dollar, does that mean higher inflation for Americans? Because goods coming into the USA have to be paid for with a currency. You want to pay in US dollars, the euro boatload of Audis that just came in, you need more American dollars to buy those Audis. They're being paid in euros over there. British goods coming into America, into Canada, will need to be paid for in the equivalent of British pounds. If that currency is going up against the American and Canadian currency, we pay more. That's higher inflation for us. We've been enjoying the show where we were watching the British pound go from 133 to 130 against the American dollar. And we were noticing how the British pound wouldn't go under 130. It was like an impenetrable force field at 130. And then it broke, and the British pound dropped down to 122. And we were thinking maybe 115 is next. Could it mean, though, that in the next few months, the British pound goes back to 130 because their rates are going to go up? The European euro going from 107 to 115 in the next year or two means coming over here will be more expensive for Americans, and goods coming into America will be higher priced. Of course, American goods coming into Europe will be cheaper because Europeans have higher currencies, but will that be enough to offset one versus the other? This is the big question being asked today, tonight, tomorrow. And this is why pension funds, hedge funds, mutual funds are going to be very carefully studying Christine Lagarde's language regarding her intentions to raise interest rates in Europe. This is why the Dow right now is down 111 points with 3 minutes to go. We could lose 500 points today because there's a lot of twitchy fingers out there worried about, geez, we go up just 1 penny against the euro. 1 penny, that could hurt our markets dramatically. 2 pennies, even worse. This is why that's why I mention it to you. So when I tell you the Dow is off this much today, you're going to go, hopefully, oh yeah, he was ranting about that this morning. He was warning us that might happen. Now, GameStop is 139.90 right now. It's up 117. We got 2 minutes to go before we open up. If the Dow has a bad vibe Thursday and a bad vibe Friday coming up, where we drop some points here, the GameStop might go with the flow, and we may find that we drop $25 a share down to 115 by tomorrow night. That's entirely in the realm of possibility. So we'll watch all this together, kids. We have a lot to keep an eye on here. I'll tell you, never a dull moment in the markets, is it? Is it? Never. And it's all interconnected. Unbelievable. So there's the latest. U.S. weekly initial jobless claims climbed to a 5-month high in early June. That's not good news. No, it's not. More things to think about. All right, we're getting ready for the bells to start trading here any moment. So let's get ready and take a look here on where it's going, where we're headed, and what's going on. Oh my goodness. Jason, thank you for the 142nd thumbs up today. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. All of you helping out, all of you lurkers out there. There's a bunch of you lurkers. Love you guys too. Thank you for the thumbs ups. If you can hit those thumbs ups for us, thank you. Those of you who are members, those of you who are followers, appreciate that. 151 are sitting here now on the thumbs up meter, and I do appreciate it. Keep them coming in, kids. Larry Titus has done us a solid. The bells have been hit to get the party started. So we're off and running for June the 9th, Thursday, June the 9th. We're trading now, and let's see where the markets want to go. I'm showing the Dow now down 103 on the initial print. That will adjust a lot. 16 points lower on S&P, 40 on NASDAQ right now. Breaking headline, U.S. stocks open lower after ECB announces July rate hike. There's the headline right there. That changed everything from an hour and a half ago, because we were up 150 on the Dow, easily up 150 on the Dow. That ain't happening anymore. So here we go. Now, maybe later we'll turn it around, but maybe not. Maybe all morning and all day we get the grind. We get the negative grind all day long. We have lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, up one step, down two, up one, down two, up one, down, just down and down and down. And we lose 500, 600 points today. That could happen. We'll see. Nick, I'm thumbs up 154, buddy. Thanks, Nick, for that. Appreciate it. Let's see what's going on. What an exciting day like yesterday. What are we going to do? How is this going to go? Well, we're down 164 on the Dow now. That's 0.35. That's more than 0.35 of a percentage point. Hang on. Let me see if I can get this updated here. 0.49 of a percentage point. We're down 21 on the S&P. That's a half a percentage point lower. And we're down half a point or more on NASDAQ now. So all three indexes are gaining on the downside right now. Matterport is off 12.5 cents to 487.5. We got Smart Rent down 9 cents. Oh, gosh. Down 9 to 567. SoFi at 666. On 853,000 so far, unchanged. Trying to hang on. Now I see 664 down 2. I got Spire 166.5 down 3.5 cents. GameStop down 253 a share to 136.20. With this morning's pre-market, all pre-market 140 to 43, 141, 142, 143, 136.44 right now on GameStop is what I see on the actual opening of the day. That's what we got right now. We'll see how this plays out. AMC down 42 cents. ATIP down 9 to 203. Rocket Lab down 15 to 470. Cyxtera down a penny at 14.49. We got ME unchanged at 236. Pfizer down 33 cents. HPQ down 9. Home Depot up 84 cents, going the wrong direction, amazingly. Robinhood 8.20 and falling. Vanik Vectors down 142. IBM down 53 cents to 140.30. Microsoft is now off 271 to 267.70. Apple down $1.08 to 146.88. Goldman down 276, 311.92. Cisco down 21 cents, 44.71. Facebook holding a gain. No, wait, hold it. Holding a gain of 99 cents. Amazon down 81 cents. Tesla up $15. Google down $3. That's the early indication on some of our faves. The Dow now down 166, 126. We're jumping everywhere right now. Will SoFi touch 5? Alberto wants to know. No reason to. Higher rates in Europe and in North America. Good news for SoFi. Should be uppity up. Vilbus, this is true, but so could a non-AR platform, whatever. Vilbus, never mind. John, 100%. Rob, come on, GameStop. Let's have a $30 drop. We're down 266 on GameStop right now. That is the deal. U.S. stocks are lower as treasuries rise. That's not good. The U.S. 10-year 3.04, having hit a high of 3.067 today. Germany did hit a high of 146. It's now 1440. So a little better on those rates, but we'll see how they do as the day wears on. No dull moments here. 136.06 last trade on GameStop, down 231 a share of the Dow now, only down 57 points at the moment. We got a little buy program kicking in. I don't know how serious it is. I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know if it's got that much depth to it. Now I see a 69-point drop. We'll watch for these. These will come and go all day long. I'm sure there are hedge funds out there that are going to be gambling and guessing swings in the markets now for volatility because of these perceived rates increases in Europe. They're going to be looking for volatility opportunities to trade these markets and go in with buy and sell waves. Might be some short selling coming in. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. Of course, there are the options. There are the hedge funds on the opposite side of those traders going, yeah, you go ahead. You take on short positions. We're going to catch you. There's also that. So we'll see what's going on. Nazareth is saying, Rob, max pain is 135 right now for this week. Seems unlikely. Let's go. I would prefer folks not discuss weaponry on the channel. If you don't mind, don't be comparing your favorite weapons and guns and rifles and stuff. I really don't think this is the place for that. Not a fan. Anyway, what can I say? Nick is saying, I wrote 5 Amazon, 8th of July, 2022, 121.75s for 472. Is this a good move? Well, I don't know. Where are we at again on this game? 136. This makes no sense. Something's not right on your quote to me. 121s would be worth $15 book value, so something's not right here. Anyway, what can I say? Let's go. No problem, Uncle B. Let's go. Rob, I might just let everything get exercised, and we'll see what happens. We'll follow that. Okay, Splair. My hopefully last SoFi run for profits can start with an average of 6069 on 200 units through a double leverage. I want some cash in my own 100 Matterport. So we're down 89 on the Dow, 108 now on the Dow. We're negative 108. Matterport off 23. Smart Rent down 8. SoFi down 15. Spire down 5. GameStop 135.52 down 344. 135.29. I think we're at the low of the day or awful close to it. 135.05 is the actual low. We're not far from that right now on GameStop, down 344 a share right now. Okay. Let's see here. What else is going on here? It's all good, guys. It's all good. We're down 100 points on the Dow. We're down 14 on S&P, and we're down 60 on NASDAQ. Half a point on NASDAQ, about a third of a percentage point on the Dow and the S&P 500. Okay. Rob, he said Amazon, not GameStop, Brucey. Oh, we're talking Nick. Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. Oh, thank you, Rob, for helping me here. Okay, so Nick wrote 5 Amazon July calls, not GameStop. He wrote those 121s for 472. Now I see. Now, some of you might be wondering, why is he writing calls that aren't actually like 121s and 122s? Why is he writing a 121.75? Because what he's doing is he's writing calls that were in existence before the split. If you multiply 121.75 times 20, you will get the pre-split value of that call. Every call has been divided by 20. So you get odd numbers like this for a few more months. Of course, every week now, new contracts are created. They're going to be 120s, 121s, 122s, 123s. That's what's going to be created now. And then these odd number ones, within a year, they won't be around anymore. They'll virtually be gone, more or less. So he's written a 121.75 with the stock at 120 right now, and he got 472. Is that a good move? That's a really, really good move. July 8th expiry. That's a month out, and he's pulling in 472 all premium on Amazon. So yeah, that's pretty good. Any of you out there that have Amazon shares, I'm highly encouraging you to write calls and take the premium money. They're handing it over. Very good. Thank you, Rob, for that, helping me out there. Okay. Alberto, I'm ready to snatch up more SoFi. Just waiting for a dip, baby. Come on in. Give it to me. Give me the dip, and I'm there. We're down 122 on the Dow. GameStop, 136.28, down 245. SoFi, 646, down 20 cents. Sorry, Bruce, you're quite right. Apologies. I really started it. It's all good, Kiwi. We're going to be okay. Thank you, buddy. Let's see how this market continues this morning. The battle between good and evil, high and low, positive and negative, high rates, low rates, inflation, no inflation, supply chain issues, the COVID, a war in Ukraine. There's nothing going on. It's just so boring out there. And we're in Munich today. And unfortunately, Jen and I, we're kind of stuck in our room. Not that we're complaining, we're just resting. But today it's yucky. You want to see this? I don't know if you want to see it. I'll show you. It looks bright and sunny. It looks really pretty out. But it's wet and cloudy. It's been raining all day. And so it's wet everywhere, soppy. Not great. So we're just staying indoors and staying dry, and not gonna get soaked. Going for a little stroll today in Munich, just allowing me to get work done here prior to the show and tend to a few things. We're down now 125 on the Dow. The low of the day has been lower than this. We're at 32,785. We were down to 712 for a while, so we had been a little lower than this, but we are down 131 now, heading for the low of the day. Yeah, we're definitely under pressure. We're down 26 on the S&P. It's down 0.64%, and the Nasdaq is down 0.93, 112 points. The Dow's down 0.48, so the Dow is lagging the other two indexes, and it's slowly catching up to them as we are backing up right now. Okay. Let's see, how much of a SoFi dip can we get today? I'm tempted to drop the rest of my GameStop proceeds into this thing at this point. 642 last trade now. SoFi down 24. I don't know. This is an ugly red week, says Tiff. And Lame Duck, I wrote a put with the 100 shares of GameStop. I lost yesterday, received $14.50 for a July 22 put. We'll see what happens. 135.40 now, 135.29 on GameStop. We're down 344, and we're closer to the low of the day at the moment. The low has been now 134.80. That has been the low print. We're about a buck away, 70 cents away, give or take, right now from the low of the day on GameStop. Alberto Vilbus, I read that it possibly will hit 550 range. I could be reading this. This could be, BS though. I'm ready to buy at 6.25. Kiwi, Lame Duck, 120K strike. He says, Kiwi, that's not yucky. Our capital city had a small tornado today. I believe that was it. That would be yucky. No kidding. Vilbus, if we hit 550, I'll drop the full 10 grand into this thing. Right now, we're at 641 on SoFi. The volume this morning, 3.4 million now. The low of the day, 340. We're at 342. That's where we're at the moment. 154 drop on the Dow. GameStop, 136.12, about $1.30 from the low of the day-ish at the moment. AMC is off 48 cents. It's not getting help from anybody, and it's not giving help to anybody either. 1304 on AMC, down 48 cents. Oil off 85 cents to 121.26. There's $20 a barrel that should evaporate now, but won't, but it should. There you have it. Okay, what else is happening here? We got ATIP down 4.5 to 207.5. Rocket Lab down 19 cents to 466. Sextera down 6, 1444 last trade. ME down a dime at 225. Pfizer down 23, but Hewlett Packard up 2 cents. What else? We've got HD up $5. Talk about going against the grain. Incredible, this retailer. IBM up a dime. Microsoft down 150. Apple down 130. Goldman down 470. Cisco up a dime. Facebook up 99 cents. Unbelievable market. I saw Amazon at 119 something. 138 is the downdraft on the Dow now. Down 142. 0.43 of a percentage point, with the NASDAQ down 0.79, leading the way. All right. Well, there you have it. Antonio Vilbas, that's the way. I'm waiting on a closing, and I would be willing to drop all profits in the SoFi if it wants to give me that kind of a deal. Well, we'll find out. 148 is the drop on the Dow at the moment, and it is not the leader on the way down. It is only being sucked along by others ahead of it, going lower faster. Boeing and Walt Disney are leading the down drip on the Dow, apparently. All right. Okay. 150 points, 161 on the Dow. Now we're down 161. Okay. Nazareth, if my GameStop 130s get exercised, I can't buy GameStop for 30 days because of the wash rules. If that happens, I'm putting it all into SoFi, so things are good either way. There you go. Right now, 136.26 on GameStop, 136.04, and we're 126 away from the low of the day. So we're not far away from going lower. It's only 259 lower. It's not like a massive sell-off bloodbath, nothing like that. Just what we got. The Dow off 157 at the moment. Stocks are slipping as bond yields rise, as the headline now. Alberto, nice work. There you go. There it is. This is the dealio, kids. Let me double check on rates. 3.033 on the 10-year for the U.S., 1.41 Germany, Italy 3.52, Spain 2.56. Those are all higher than lately, for sure. Those are all higher. The euro 106.90 falling, pound 125.38 unchanged at the moment. The yen is falling 133.71. The Japanese yen is dropping almost 0.4% right now. So the yen is taking it on the chin right now. European markets are all down 1.1 to 1.6, 1.42% each. They're all off, and the Dow is now off 91. Little recovery here. We're down 13 on S&P, and we're down 64 on NASDAQ. All three markets are improving at the moment. GameStop 138.11, only off 62 cents. We're improving on all markets right now. Just a little improvement coming in. Just what I see. Smart Rent's only down 2 cents. SoFi down 12 now to 654. Spire only down a penny. GameStop now only down 7 cents. ATIP down 2.5. Rocket Lab down 15. Sextera down 15. And 23andMe down 8. We're watching, let's see, Robinhood down only 11. Vanik is positive, plus 58. IBM is down 18. Microsoft down 13 cents. Apple down 87 cents. All of these are coming on as I speak. Amazon 120.58. That's coming up a buck or so as well. So we got some recovery coming into this market at the moment. Down 89 on the Dow versus 150 about 5 minutes ago. Okay. That's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. What can I tell you? A little improvement. Could be a buy wave. Might not last long. I don't know. We're down 92 now on the Dow. Wahoo! GameStop 137.62 down 111. 138 down 26. We're jumping between 137, 138 now on GameStop. Spire up a half a penny, 170.5. Spire has turned it around. Smart Rent only down 2 cents. The Dow down 98.5 points. What is it going to do? I'll tell you. Questions. Spire is green, says Tiff. Austin, Brucey, I had my first diet caffeine-free Coke last night. It was awesome. Some great taste, no jitters, and no calories. I just cracked another one this morning. It's a game changer. Thumbs up 176. I like it. Like when I go out to a restaurant, when I do order a Diet Coke, or if I can get a caffeine-free, I love putting in a wedge of lime or a wedge of lemon with that. I love that little, but it's got to be the real thing, not this. I don't like buying cola with lime in it. That's the fake stuff. I like to have a real wedge of lime and just squeeze it. I don't mind that taste, but anyway, I'm a diet caffeine free. I call it brown fuzzy water because what's left? There's nothing left in there. Bubbles, brown water. There you go. Coyote, just going to buy more SoFi here. There you go. SoFi now 655 down 11. Spire unchanged. GameStop up 77 cents to 139.50. So we're green on GameStop. Down 2 on Smart Rent, down 22 on Matterport right now, down 47 on the Dow. ATIP down 2.5 cents. Rocket Lab down a dime. Sextera down 19. ME down 7. Pfizer's up 2 cents. Hewlett Packard up 6. HD up $6. Robinhood down only 9 cents. Vanik is up. At the moment, Vanik is up 62 cents. IBM up 12. Microsoft up 2. Apple down 42. Goldman down 369. Cisco up 25. Facebook up 99. Amazon down 32 cents. Tesla up $20. Google up $8. So it's going green. Looks like the Dow might have turned it. We're now unchanged on the Dow Jones. So a couple of buy programs seem to have come into this market to reverse the losses. Will this have staying power? I don't know. We're up 1/3 of a point on the S&P. We're down 5 on NASDAQ, down 5. Oil off 86 cents a barrel. Oil Dow now up 8. That's it right there. If SoFi dips into the 5s, I'm having a family meeting to get permission to buy another batch. Is it easier to ask for permission or for forgiveness? Lame Duck Nazareth. You can write puts for AMC July 22 15s and get $2 contract, $200. Maybe write 6 or 7 for 12 or $1,400. Andrew says, Austin, beg for forgiveness in 2 years. DQ, Austin, it's best not to ask for either. Just do what you want and hide the evidence. If it's family money, then you have to ask permission. If it's your money, it's okay and ask for forgiveness. Austin, Bill was DQ. Do you sleep on a couch a lot, by the way? I'm just kind of curious. I just want to know. I see. Okay. We're up 3.2 on the Dow. S&P down 1/4 point. NASDAQ down 6.3. Down 22 cents on Matterport. Haven't recovered yet. Smart Rent down 3. SoFi down 12. Spire up 1.5. GameStop down 47 cents. Now we're up a penny on GameStop. AMC down 32. ATIP down 2. Rocket Lab down 11. Sextera down 13 cents. ME down 5.5 cents. Pfizer up 7 and HBQ up 8. So it's a mixed bag. We're up 12 on the Dow right now. Okay. DQ is saying to Austin, there's no couch under the bridge, buddy. There ain't no couch under the bridge. Kiwi, I'm going to put in a buy for SoFi at 5:01, and then I'm going to bed. It's 1:53 a.m., and I have to get a meeting in at 8 o'clock. Well, 6:55, you're going to need a serious drop, but whatever, you got it in there. Nazareth, lame duck. I have 12.5s for next week for AMC. Can't write puts right now. DH Ruda, Austin, don't ask, don't tell. Rob, I sleep on the couch a lot, but it's a really comfy couch. Rob, good night, Kiwi, from Rob. There you go. Take care, Kiwi. We're up 12.3 on the Dow, down 0.6 on S&P, NASDAQ down 8. Not a lot going on here. Oil down 90 cents a barrel. There's where we're at right now. Okay. Welcome to the party, kids. This is the day. We're down $1.20 on GameStop. It varies, doesn't it? It'll go green, red, green, red. They have really interesting cookies in Germany. This is essentially a tea biscuit covered in chocolate. Very good. Spire up 4 cents. 174. GameStop 137.50. The high on the day for GameStop was 139.90 a little while ago. Now we're 136.70, down $2. 136.70. Yeah. $2 away from the low of the day. Uncle Bruce, you need to try out Knoppers, Knopers, if you haven't yet. Knoppers, Knoppers. I don't know how you pronounce that. These are Choco Leibniz. And then here it says Balsen Leibniz. Very tasty. Nice. Vilbus, I still have a $13 average on Matterport on 500. Might be a good day to average down there if this keeps dipping here. 470. All-time low on Matterport, 394. 472 right now. Spire, 174, up 4. GameStop, 137.29, down 144. The K is silent, so they're called Nopers. Laughing out loud, Nopers. The first try was perfectly, then you pronounced it wrong. Nopers. Nopers is a brand of wafer candy bar filled with hazelnut and milk cream. Produced by August Stork. Nopers were launched by Stork in West Germany in 1983. The more you know. See? Lee Ibenitz. Robert, you're killing me as I eat my granola and yogurt. Anyway, there you go. Oh, gosh. Yeah, there isn't really a lot of bad food in Germany. It's pretty good. Yeah. You ever come here, you're going to be fine when it comes to eating out and eating good quality food. I mean, even in the train stations, they have these kiosks. You just come up to them, and they're the staff are behind glass, uh, and in front of them, between you and the staff, are these counters that are like 5 feet high, and they're filled with pastries. And you just go, oh, I'll take a butter croissant, and I'll take an apple turnover, and then you get a latte, which they make out of a machine, but it's got the fresh coffee up at the top. You just watch it; it's delicious. You take a bite of the apple turnover. It's warm, like warm or hot. Like, oh, they make them on the premises at the back. They're cranking them out. I'm not sure if they come from a factory kitchen where all they have to do is warm them up, for the final whatever. But I'll tell you right now, the result at the counter, having just a butter croissant with nothing on it, is so good. Really good food here. Yeah. Just even fast food is really good food. I'm telling you. Tiff, I'm married for 11 months now. Recently, I updated my wife about how much of what used to be my money I have in the market. She got a small shock. It was the first time she realized that it's our money now. Uh-oh. It was kind of sweet. Blair, sounds like we have a good products here from the U.S. I hear sometimes that a lot of stuff is way too chemical and not natural. Yeah, I don't know. I just, what are you going to do? Jen and I love our Tim Hortons in Canada, and we stop and we'll grab an apple fritter. But what I find that the apple fritter, it's all sugar glazed, coated. And so it's just a sugar hit off the top of the thing. Where here you have pastry that isn't sugar coated. It's just the pastry with the sugar laced filling inside. Maybe that way. I don't know. I bought Jen the other day a turnover that was a cheese filled turnover. She loved it. Just loved it. They do eat I call it a hot dog stand, but I'm lying. There's a stand in front of the main train station that we are directly across the street from. And it's a bratwurst stand. And theoretically, you can get a hot dog, but not really. You're going to get a German version of a hot dog, which actually has, it has like spices in it, and it's got a taste to it. Pretty good stuff. It's just a different world. Across the street from the railroad station is a kiosk. It's been there every day that I've been here. They sell nothing but fruit. I mean, strawberries and peaches and pears and bananas and apples and watermelon and regular melon. And they're doing a brisk business selling just fruit. Doesn't take any ingredients to make that happen. That's pretty good. Wavy gravy, GameStop theory. I believe the trickle effect for the NFT marketplace is in effect with GameStop. I've noticed creators on their marketplace beginning to post similar words on Twitter. I'm excited to announce the secret I've been keeping. I am a GameStop NFT creator, and my work will be featured in the new NFT marketplace soon. Interesting. Tiff, we call this hot dog stands Limbus. Austin, DQ, typically don't watch hockey, have been glued in on TV versus Tampa Bay, New York, nonstop action. Wavy, do you think GameStop might have invited all of their creators to announce their involvement? Probably. Yeah, most likely. Splair, yeah, it has nothing to do with your hot dogs, only that it is a sausage on a bun. That's familiar, but the bun and the sausage are already completely different, but it's really delicious at the right places. Yeah, the bun is real bakery baked bun that you would buy. In North America, you would go into the bakery department at Safeway where they have those bins and you can buy them individually. That's as close as you're going to get if you go to a Safeway. Costco's bakery definitely has baked buns from inside the store. and that's close-ish depending on the kind of bun we're talking about here. So good here. Oh my God. As part of the overall marketing plan, done. Yes, sir. As part of the overall marketing plan. You got it, Wavy Gravy. You got it. We're down now 3-4 points on the Dow. Matterport is still down 28. Smart Rent is unchanged. We're back to even. SoFi still down 20. Spire up 2.5. GameStop 138.19. 137.91, down 82 cents right now on GameStop. The Dow now down 9, and S&P down 3, NASDAQ down 20. We've got a sell program coming in right at the moment. Tiff, Uncle Bruce, next time you are at one of these imbis places, ask for Labor Casa Reckon. Labor Casa and Reckon. Is that a liverwurst something? Talk to me. What is that in English? Let me know. What I find is walking by the place, it's always got a lineup of people looking to buy a product of these sausage places, and they got the grill going with just lines of sausages, and they're not like the 6-inch little hot dogs we have in Canada, the US, or the so-called big hot dogs that are 6.5, 7 inches. These things are 10-inch long dogs. These are huge sausages that are just cranking on the grill. Oh, it smells so good, looks so good. Oh my gosh. Austin, the analyst that predicted SoFi in the $6 range, while it was in the high teens, had some stones of steel and got it right. There you are. There you go. Smart. Yeah. SoFi 645 right now. 644 right now. 137.45, 137.39 on GameStop, down $1.34. We've only gone between 134.80 for the low and 139.90 for the high. A $5 range is all we've seen today on GameStop so far. Splair, yeah, we mean the same. Here we use the bakery buns, and those in America are mostly soft buns, familiar to our milk buns. I like both of the styles. Yeah, Jen and I love soft dinner buns with butter for a dinner, especially if you can have some soup. You have those dinner rolls. Oh, they're good. Thanksgiving, you have those soft King's Hawaiian. Was it King's Hawaiian? Is that what they're called?
Tray buns.
The tray buns from King's Hawaiian, those tray buns. Oh my gosh. Leftover turkey on a King's Hawaiian tray bun with some butter, some salt, and pepper. And oh my gosh, that is so good. Tiff, the closest you have to it is meatloaf, but it's quite different. One-on-one translation would be liver cheese, but there's neither liver nor cheese in it. That's German. That's some German. I noticed this morning, Jen and I had breakfast this morning in the hotel, which we don't often do. But we went downstairs, and it was a buffet breakfast. And you start with your coffee, which is these coffee machines, and they have like 6 selections: the espresso, coffee with milk, coffee and milk, a latte, an Americano. They're all versions. So you make your coffee, and then head over into the food area after you put your coffee on the table. Head to the food area, and they did have this morning for meat selections. This is typical German. They had what's called Weisswurst. It's a white sausage, very thick and generally not very long, with a skin on it that you slice it open with a sharp knife, and you peel the skin of this sausage off. And then you have this, I think it's veal and pork mixed together. I'm not 100% sure, but it is extremely delicious. A fine sausage, no gristle in there. They have those available for breakfast, pork sausage available for breakfast, and they had a meatloaf available for breakfast. Again, this is a pork-style meatloaf that we're not used to in North America. It's very fine. You can slice it. Then they had chicken wings for the breakfast buffet. They had chicken wings. I had a couple. They were delicious. I thought, why not? When in Munich, they had bacon. Then they had the scrambled eggs. They had the fried eggs. They would make you an omelet if you wanted one done. They had boiled eggs ready to go. Just, get the shell off and eat away. Very good selection. Even had some muesli this morning. That was nice. I'm more partial to fava beans and a nice Chianti. Yes, it sounds like something to have. I have to try. This show is now added to my recipe playlist. Big nose. Käse is German for cheese. Käse, that's right. Mirko, you need sweet mustard with the Weisswurst, even better. I like very hot mustard, Senf, a real good heavy, the sinus clearer Senf. I like that on my sausages. Ooh, I love that. Also on my on like a ham and cheese sandwich or pulled pork, have on real spice, like a real hot Dijon that really gets everything flowing. That's the perfect meal. You're full and you're empty. Your sinuses are empty and your tummy's full. And you got a bunch of Kleenexes in the garbage over there, but nonetheless, it's all good. That's the perfect meal. We're down 96 now on the Dow. We're down 96 points. Matterport is still down 26. SmartRent is now down 2 again. SoFi still down 20. Spire up 1.7 cents. GameStop at 136.40 down 233. So we're negative again on the GameStop. We're closer to the low than the high, but we've only had a $5 range. So Austin, for having a huge German heritage here in the U.S., is it right to say that German cuisine isn't real strong in America? Well, it's traditional German. It's that traditional. If you go to Frankenmuth in Michigan, you'll find some pretty good German food. But, it stops at a certain level in Canada, too. But you come here and you see some of these real traditional German dishes, and you're going, oh, my God, love this stuff. I remember my mom cooking up a storm, in her day. That's probably your little part of Eastern Europe DNA. It has to be hot mustard. Yes, Lithuania from my father, probably right. Michael, Thai food will clear you out. The trick is to ask for a Thai hot, not North American hot, but hot. Mike, Austin, New York City has some great German restaurants. Mirko in Munich, you should get the horseradish. Put it on everything there. It's called Meerrettich. Yeah. Love super hot horseradish too. I love that stuff. Yeah, we got to go out to a German restaurant, Jen and I, and find maybe a Sauerbraten and then get some hot Meerrettich. We gotta look into that. Homework, BW, between EU rate changes and leaks about CPI data as being not good, might want to wait to buy at the bottom tomorrow. 666 end of the day on SoFi. Was that a shot at Noto? They've stopped there twice now. Why the face? Splair Bruce, do you like horseradish mustard? I'm sure. I like horseradish mayo. In Canada, we have an outfit called Superstore. It's a big grocer. They have what they call President's Choice. Horseradish mayo horseradish. Hot, whoa, sinus cleaner. Yeah, I really like that stuff. Austin, Michael, I just don't hear a lot of people say we're going to that really good German restaurant, usually Italian, a steakhouse, fish house. Yeah, you're right. Splair, yeah, Mirko thought about the same. It can clear the sinuses. Michael, Austin, that is true. We're down 152 on the Dow. We've gone right back down again on the Dow. We got to the green barely, and then down we go. 151, 160 now on the Dow. We're down 18 now on S&P. We're down 50 on NASDAQ, all going green. We're green, they're all red. Down now 0.42 to 0.47% each of these exchanges. Oil down 40 cents. Matterport still down 22. SmartRent up 3. SoFi down 18. Spire up 1. GameStop 137.66 down $1.07. Not much of a drop in this quick dropping market. AMC down a quarter. ATIP down a nickel. Rocket Lab down 15 cents. Cyxtera down 14. ME down a dime. Pfizer and and HPQ both red. Pfizer down 31 and HPQ down 48. Home Depot up $7. Will not play along today. It's not backing off. It got the 306.85. It's 304.70. This is up $7. Nick's got to be going crazy. It won't back off. Crazy, man. Robinhood down a dime. Bannock down 70. IBM down 47. Microsoft still up 92. Apple down 151. Goldman down 576. Cisco down 6. Facebook up 99. Amazon down $1 to 120.17. Tesla up $29. Google down $2.25 a share. There it is. What a amazing day here. Quite interesting. Okay. Yeah. What can I say? GameStop down 146 at 137.26. Holding into this range here, just like 136, 137, 138, just kind of hanging around for the moment. That is the dealio for the moment. Okay, I don't know. Oil down 42 cents, 121.69. We need a drop there, but we're not getting it. Not at le moment, for sure. Not at the moment. Oh boy. Thank you all for joining us here today. Appreciate this. It's good to have you around. These thumbs ups today, thank you again for those. They have they're making a difference. Right now, the thumbs up meter shows 190 on the thumbs ups meter. Thank you guys for helping us out. Looks like every day we seem to get to the 200 mark pretty easily. There's only 243 of you here. We're almost at 200 thumbs ups. That's pretty good. Thank you. I know a lot of you come in and then leave. You come in and you leave. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. It really helps. Okay. Does the price action of SoFi further encourage a stock reverse split? I don't know what to make of it. I really wonder, are they going to do a 5-for-1 or a 10-for-1 split? Are they really thinking of that? Because if they did a 5-for-1, they'd have 225 million out, ballpark, instead of 900 odd million out. 10-to-1, that might be too much. Down to 90 million shares, that might be too much. I don't know, my friend. I don't know how that's going to go. Market cap of SoFi, $6.1 billion. Based off of SoFi's investor presentation, their PE ratio, based off of 2025 projections, is 9.3. They have hit their 2020 and 2021 projections. So I don't know. Who cares? Says I'm number 198 on the thumbs up meter. Current PE of JP Morgan, 9.5. Interestingly, how this is going. But I think the growth rate of SoFi's growth rate is phenomenal compared to JP Morgan. I don't even know if they have a growth rate. Right. 648 on SoFi, down 18. 138.59 on GameStop. They tried to go positive, and they're negative 14 cents right now on GameStop. We're right at that even line here. Awful close to it. Anyway, there you are. Headline. Here's an interesting headline. Would you pay $500 an hour for a financial advisor? This reader wanted an advisor to, quote, take a holistic view, unquote, of his finances, but not manage his investments. We looked into just how expensive that might be. That's an interesting headline, isn't it? I charge $400 an hour for a one-on-one for an hour privately, if you ever want to have one of those. And that's where we chat right here. I'm over here, you're over here. We talk for an hour and go over whatever you want to talk to me about. And I'll throw you my 2 bits of advice if I can help you. And it's gone over fairly well with a lot of you, and I appreciate that. If any of you ever want to do a one-on-one, send me a private email at brucefrommert@hotmail.com and say, Bruce, can we do a one-on-one? Is it possible with you in Europe and me wherever I am that we can do a one-on-one? I don't know. Anyway, there you go. BW says, Brat mit Brochen. If it doesn't hang out of the tiny little hoagie roll they're putting it on, it isn't worth it. There you go. Wing Commander, I finally rolled my 110s into 135s for July 22nd, sold for $19.95. Right on. Got it done. Right on, Wing Commander. Way to go. $137.99 on the stock right now, down 74 cents. That's where we're at right here. Now, GameStop can go down to 110 for all I care. There you go. For 400 an hour, will you sing a little Yoko too? I don't know if you want to hear that. I might have to add 100 to that. Might have to make it 500 an hour. Because it hurts to do it. I mean, it's painful. You're asking me to hurt myself, you know. It's not necessarily a good thing. Down 100 points on the Dow Jones. We're down 100 points on the Dow. Interesting stuff. Interesting story. Just taking a peek here at something. I'm kind of curious about this. Apple is 146.47 right now. The low of the last 52 weeks, 125.94. The high of 182.94. And Apple now is 146.70 approximately. Headline that Apple sales of Macs and other hardware may be slowing. Is this going to cause the stock to drop in price? Question. Well, you know, these are good questions. I mean, you know, they're okay. Don't mind good questions. We're down now on the Dow, 98 points right there. That's where we're at right now. Smart Rent is up 7 cents, 5.83. Spire is up 0.7 of a cent. That's not so good. We're up a quarter on GameStop right now at 138.98. Okay. How about that? Splair, you make me hurt myself. I couldn't stop laughing. Who cares? I've done a one-on-one with Uncle Bruce before. It was a good investment. I'll do it again if in the fall, I think. There you go. I've had a number of one-on-ones with a bunch of you guys, and they're pretty productive, I think. Yeah. Those of you who are lurkers out there who have not had a one-on-one with me, if you ever want to do one, I usually try and do them on the weekends, but now that I'm in Europe, I might be able to do one with you during the week. It all depends on the timing and where you are. If you're in North America, we got to figure out the conversion of time differential to see how we can fit this through. But anyway, anybody want to do a one-on-one, just send me an email right here, brucefrommert@hotmail.com. And if you want to learn how to write stock options, there are 13 lessons waiting for you right there. Stock Markets with Bruce, stockmarketswithbruce.ca. That is my website. And head on over there and you'll find the lessons available. 13 of them anytime you want to watch them. And become educated on how to write options. And away we go. All right. Nice stuff. Down 100 points on the Dow. Can we get something going? 139.44, up 71 cents on GameStop. The high of the day, 139.90. We're just below the high of the day on GameStop right now. Okay. Yeah. Austin is saying, when someone charges you a flat fee, a reasonable flat fee, for advice that you will use the rest of your life, you are getting a great deal, and the guy selling it is getting just an okay deal. And there you go. So I don't charge any royalties on anything you make after you talk to me, but we do appreciate donations. Speaking on behalf of Jen and myself. A Coca-Cola Light is no more. We are done with the Coca-Cola Light. Oh my gosh. Did COVID overinflate Apple sales? Therefore, the headline you just mentioned wouldn't necessarily be negative. That's a good question. $400 is incredibly reasonable, says Austin. Thank you for that. And swear, I haven't had, or I don't have one-on-one, but from the things I know so far about Bruce and his work experience he's had in the past, it should be very recommendable to try it out. Thank you for that too. Uh, I've done a number of them since last year. I remember when I started going live a year ago, January. I think it was wasn't even a week into doing it, being live every day, that people were asking me, "Do you offer one-on-one sessions?" And I started doing those in February of last year. I think I started offering those, but I could only do them on Saturdays and Sundays because Monday to Friday I'm on the air all the time. So I started doing sessions weekends, and for quite a while I had sessions every Saturday, every Sunday, and helping people out. But it's helped a lot of folks, and I'm very happy about that. Another headline: the PGA Tour suspends Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, and other players who joined the LIV Golf League, which is that Saudi financed league. I've heard, I think it was Phil Mickelson signed for $200 million. Dustin Johnson signed for $150 million. These are sign-up fees. Join our tour. Here's a check. Now you can compete on our schedule for money. Like, how about that? Yeah, these guys are raking it in. Unbelievable. I heard that the rumor was that Tiger was offered an opportunity to join the LIV league. Now, this might have been before his accident, but I heard it was maybe as high as 500 or 600 million for Tiger. Wow. Like, wow. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Amazing. Quick 6-6. 1/2 if GameStop just so happens to drop all the way back down into the 80s. I am buying a call as deep in the money and for as far out as I can afford, and I will start a poor man covered call strategy right there. 2 of 2. I have put it off long enough. It's time to get back into GameStop. BW. So let me get this straight. US delists over 100 Chinese companies due to CCP military ties. A week later, the administration signs a deal with Chinese solar manufacturers. Another U.S. slap in the face. I don't know if they signed a deal, but I think they did not increase tariffs against solar companies out of China. But again, I'm BW. You might know something I don't know. Alberto, $400 an hour. Laugh out loud. I have made that so many times over. The cheapest and best advice I have ever obtained. Thank you for all of your kind words. Appreciate that. All very nice of you to say. You take from it what you want and go with it. I remember when I started in the business back in 79, 80, I would make a beeline whenever there was a quiet time, or I saw 2 or 3 brokers standing around just shooting the breeze. If one of those brokers was a 20-year veteran, I would just saddle right up to that guy, and I'd listen to every word they said. I remember early on in my career, I was a sponge from the veterans who've been around a while. And so I was talking to guys who had been brokers since the late 50s, mid 50s, into the 60s and the 70s. And I was absorbing everything I could from these guys because I knew that in 10, 15 years, they're gone. And then it's my turn to be the leader. And so I wanted to catch as much as I could. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how many young guys that I started with, didn't want to talk to these older guys because they didn't think they knew anything. And funny enough, a lot of these young guys who didn't talk to the veterans didn't last long in the business because they were just so full of themselves. They just had no room for the experience that they should have been able to get for free. These older guys that I got to know, they were so generous and happy to talk to a young guy who showed an interest in the business. It was just a pleasure to talk to these guys. Oh my gosh. I miss them because it's, so many years ago. Anyway, Shez says quick 6. I'm thinking the same about GameStop. I'm thinking the same thing too. Poor man covered calls on GameStop. 101 is the downdraft on the Dow right now. Matterport down 20 cents. We've got SmartRent down 9. We got SoFi down 17. Spire's up 3 to 173 now. GameStop down 43 cents again, 138.30. AMC down 22 cents. ATIP down 2. Rocket Lab down a dime. Sixtera down just 2 cents, actually coming back. 23andMe down 8.5. Pfizer down 37. HPQ down 47 cents as the market is down 96 points at the moment. Well, there we have it, folks. I'm going to pack up this show. I'm going to get a break in with Jennifer here. We're going to come back on the air. I'll be back on the air at 3 o'clock. And if I've mentioned it earlier, I'll mention it one more time. I uploaded a video yesterday on my other channel, TWB, Traveling with Bruce, all about this miniature museum that Jennifer and I attended last week in Hamburg, a little bit ago. Check that video out. I hope you like it. It's 30-something minutes long, so, forgive me. But, man, I was able to get some really great shots of some of these incredible scenes, these incredible scenes that had been handmade. They say that since the museum opened over 20 years ago, they have now spent in excess of 37 million euros to build it. To this point, it's still being built. It is still being expanded. Check it out. It's only part 1 of 2, though. I got a part 2 to do yet. Unreal. I haven't done the airport yet, but man, something like, is it 1,400 trains? 287,000 miniature people are on display. 145,000 trees. 500,000 lights, lamps, bulbs. Every train, every car, every ship, every bus, every house has lights. The lighting goes dark every 30 minutes and then daylight every 30 minutes, then dark it's incredible. It's just incredible. Worth checking out. Anyway, I will see you guys at 3 o'clock this afternoon. If you check that video out, let me know. Thank you for being here with me today. We'll catch you later at 3 this afternoon. Bye for now.